Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ Review number 273 on this Tuesday night. I'm sure Sunday we'll get back to our normal time slot at 8, but right now, this is the NoDQ Review. This week's elite panel is, of course, Aaron Rift, myself, the reliable one, Walter Cruz, and the simple man, Noah Foster, back in the house. Gentlemen, what's up? Noah, I will start with you. Just made it home in time. What's up?
Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you, Virtue, Aaron, Walter. Good to see you at NoDQ Galaxy. It's good to be back in the review. Doing very well. Recently celebrated my 32nd birthday. Watched a little bit of TNA. Got free another work day. And it's been a very interesting week last week in the wrestling industry. Across the board, I would say, as we continue to hit the reset button and look forward to quite a number of very interesting things. Good to see you once again. Good to be back.
All right, I'm going to preface this before we start. Thank you, Noah. Virtue mode initiated. Walter Cruz, what's going on? There's a couple things. But what's up, Walter?
Nothing much. Good to see you guys. Good to be seen. I'm ready to get into it. We got some really good toppings. This one's going to be a good one. Topics.
I just WrestleMania season and even AEW is kind of exciting me, getting me excited. And we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. It's crazy times, Aaron. What's going on?
I'm doing pretty good. Shout out to Chris on X. We are, in fact, live. This is the NoDQ Review, 100% live. As Jim Ross said to Sid all those years ago, we're live, pal. We got Virtue, who is the moderator. He's very opinionated. He goes on X, and if you disagree with anything he says, he calls you a mark. You just have to deal with it. That's how he rolls.
First of all, no, Aaron. If you disagree with me respectfully, I don't block you and I engage with you. But if you come out like a Cody Crybaby, like a complete wrestling social media troll, I take a shot at you, then I block you at least for 48 hours. Just so you know, those are the rules. Play by them, and you get to read my tweets.
And where did the apologies get sent to be unblocked?
Well, how about nodqvirtue@gmail.com? That's to me directly. Aaron gets a kick out of reading them too, so you can always send them to nodqmisc@gmail.com.
All right. And Noah, glad to have you back on. Happy belated birthday, a year older and a year wiser. Looking forward to getting your thoughts on tonight's discussion. And, of course, happy to have Walter Cruz on. Walter is always around. He's available. He is Mr. Reliable. And we're all excited to discuss the road to WrestleMania, and we even have some AEW to talk about. So it should be a fun live stream. We are live, and we are ready to get this ball rolling.
Okay, let's talk about the first topic here, and let's talk about Seth freaking Franklin Rollins. Now, I do not want to talk about yet the segment with Cody from Raw and the possibilities for his additional work that could be services rendered at WrestleMania. What I want to talk about is we know Cody Rhodes did not challenge him, and Seth Rollins' opponent for WrestleMania in terms of him defending the World Heavyweight Championship will be determined at Elimination Chamber, which they're starting to stack the Elimination Chamber up of big stars for that one. Who is the best fit for Seth Rollins? CM Punk got hurt. It's not going to be Cody, right? The Cody Crybabies were hurt, and Cody's going to get to face Roman. But for Seth's championship match, could it be a triple threat match? And not necessarily will it headline night 1 or kick off night 2. We'll talk about that later. I just want to know, who do you think it should be versus who it will be? I'm going to start with you, Noah. There are some possibilities. I think we got 4 people in the Elimination Chamber already. A couple more to be still to qualify. He's the workhorse champion. I feel through all of this stuff that's went on, WWE's biggest blunder was having Cody win and then trying to get The Rock involved, and it kind of made Seth look secondary. And clearly, since Roman is that part-time champion, that special attraction champion, Seth is that next level champion that's the workhorse. And I think he's kind of been disrespected by fans. Sure, they sing along to his music, but man, he should have a chip on his shoulder. And whoever gets the number 1 contender spot against him, that's going to be a show stealer opportunity for both of them. Noah, what's your thoughts?
Well, looking at Seth freaking Rollins' track record of that proverbial chip that I feel he still carries on his shoulder to this day, when you consider what his star power is versus others that have either come back or have constantly been part of the WWE ecosystem, I think about who's been the biggest thorn in his side that may have even more motivation towards not only challenging for this championship, but carrying it. The first ballot candidate I think of is Drew McIntyre. I think of the fact that maybe third time's the charm for him. Drew McIntyre has now had 2 previous chances at the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. He's also been the one that has been the most focused, dedicated, determined to claim this title. As he keeps talking about, he's been looking for that moment for himself now in front of everybody. When he got the moment for everybody in front of nobody. Drew McIntyre has proverbially a bigger chip on his shoulder than I think Seth Rollins is. So just looking at the landscape of Elimination Chamber right now, but also who's been involved in the World Heavyweight title picture, I think Drew McIntyre is, unintended, the chosen one to challenge Seth Rollins. No matter he gets it done this time, there's a whole nother caveat of factors that could play into that could possibly play into other topics to discuss. But first out of the gate, I gotta go with Drew McIntyre on this one.
Mute.
Watch.
I do like that pick, Noah, because when he did win it at WrestleMania, it was in front of the no crowd. And even though he's a heel now, this could be his moment, and why it would be important for him to get the title there. And, you know, they have Backlash on my wedding day a month later where he could maybe win the title then. I want Drew McIntyre going into the SummerSlam season as the World Heavyweight Champion with a possible returning CM Punk, who will most likely feud with Drew McIntyre. So I like that pick, Noah. Walter, same pick for you, or sell me on somebody else? Is there a chance with a triple threat? I know with Elimination Chamber, we're only really going to have one winner, but could someone else squeak in there because of Rollins' knee not being 100%? And again, we'll talk about other main event possibilities still to come for maybe Seth Rollins at Mania. But what do you think here, Walter?
There's always a chance that they can do that. They love triple threats at WrestleMania. There's quite a few of them that's been one of the main events. So I agree with Noah. I think it should be. I think it's going to be Drew, but who I think it should be is I would love to see them redo it. JJ has said, a bunch of people have said it. If you redo WrestleMania 6 and you do Gunther versus Seth, I would love to do that. You have Gunther win that title, and then eventually have to lose the IC title, and then, you know, we got a pay-per-view coming up in Germany. He's not from Germany, he's from Austria, but close enough. And you have him headline someone as a champ over there in Germany. Like, and you have him keep the title, and you give Gunther the push that he deserves. So I think it should be Gunther, but yeah, I 100% agree with Noah. It's going to be Drew. It just makes sense. And then, like you just said, all the teasing with Punk, when Punk returns, that's the feud you go with.
And they'll get Rollins and Punk at some point. Like, that's like, it's not gonna, it's not going to happen with them. But
Exactly.
and again, Drew's another one right now because of, you know, the whole secondary title. Like, I get the shots going back and forth from Rollins and Reigns, and they kind of started that initially with Rollins taking those shots at the part-time or the Hollywood champion Reigns, because they might have been trying to push towards Cody and Rollins. And then now, you know, and Reigns got his comeback the next time he was out there, but now it's like, oh, come on. They're really belittling Seth, and then even who the challenger is. So yeah, those, whoever they are, whoever's in that match for the World Heavyweight Championship, those guys are going to have a big chip on their shoulder. And there's a very good possibility that match could not kick off, but like be the hot opener for night 2. And we'll talk about why that might happen. Aaron, any thoughts here?
All right, so let's look at the possibilities for this. Basically, I'm going with the idea that everybody but one person has a solid direction for WrestleMania. Let's take a look at it. We got Randy Orton. I think he's going to end up facing Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania. So I do not see Randy Orton winning. We have Bobby Lashley. I'm expecting Bobby Lashley's group versus Karrion Kross's group at WrestleMania in some kind of big tag match. And then you have LA Knight.
Yeah.
Now, I think he's going to end up facing Logan Paul and winning the United States title. That's something I've been talking about for a while. That's my gut feeling at this time with him. And then as far as the to be determined ones, we got Dominic Mysterio versus Kevin Owens on SmackDown. I think Owens wins, but I don't see Owens winning the Chamber. And then we have Logan Paul versus The Miz. I think Logan Paul clearly wins this. He also will not win Elimination Chamber, but he'll do his crazy spots and whatnot. So that just leaves Drew McIntyre. As you guys mentioned, he seems like the obvious pick. He's being pushed very strongly as a heel right now, and I could see him winning this. And maybe they need to step things up because we've already seen Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre multiple times over the past several months. So I think, I think they got to up the ante at WrestleMania. I don't know if that means bringing back Hell in a Cell. Like, I'd be up for that. Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania with these guys. Maybe Drew wins the title. Maybe Seth Rollins somehow retains. And then you have Damian Priest cashing in his Money in the Bank contract, which I think they have to do it at WrestleMania, as I've been saying. That's the Super Bowl of wrestling. Why would he not cash in? Hell, he should even cash in without having to run in at the end. He should just say in advance, I want the world title match at WrestleMania. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be in a championship match at WrestleMania, and you could very well make it a triple threat. But either way, I think that it's going to be Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. That's my prediction.
So there we have it. And, we will find out right after Elimination Chamber who Seth Rollins' opponent's going to be. Now, put Seth Rollins over here because we're going to be talking about him again shortly. But in the meantime, let's move over to AEW for a little bit here. Blatantly obvious at this point, kind of maybe even CM Punk obvious, that when Dynamite is in Boston or wherever, Boston at the TD Garden or whatever they call it these days, that Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné will debut in AEW. All the clues were there in Tony Khan's big announcement. They basically just gave that away, hype it up, sell the tickets. So everybody's thoughts on that she is 99% AEW bound, but also the news we got broke, right? I hate these dirt sheets, but there's some news that broke that it seems like Okada is also going to AEW when the whole world, not the whole world, but there were a certain specific group of people that said, no, it's got to be WWE. And I'm just sitting here thinking, man, with everything that happened to Tony Khan, the way he loves to spend money, who Okada is, and I know there's a lot of people that he's already faced in matches there in AEW when they were in New Japan, it just made sense that Okada was going to be able to make Tony Khan open that checkbook. And my gut feeling says I can't wait till this is officially official because it's one of those virtue I told you so moments. I just know I'm going to start with you. Tony Khan was not going to lose this guy. I don't know if he's opening the Brinks truck like Vince McMahon did to Brock Lesnar, but go ahead, Noah, talk about both of these people. I think they're both, obviously Sasha Banks, Mercedes is going to be there. I think Okada is locked in, ready to go. Tony Khan needs him. What do you think, Noah?
I think it's safe to say, as far as Kazuchika Okada goes, that was the most obvious one to think about because there is another key factor I also want to mention. One of his best friends, Rocky Romero, has been one of the biggest power players in this entire AEW, NJPW, CMLL relationship. You can honestly say that Rocky Romero has been the key to the Forbidden Door, for being perfectly honest, as Kazuchika Okada has been involved at both Forbidden Door pay-per-views in AEW history. And with that friend being there and that sort of freedom in that environment to flex who he faces, who he could go up against, and how much he wants to do, it just felt like AEW was the more comfortable fit. It also means that maybe some point, like Will Ospreay promised, he could go back and compete in New Japan or in Japan in general, because I've seen him, of course, show up in Pro Wrestling Noah. So Okada was the most obvious one, and I think that he will bring a lot of international value to the already international relationships AEW has with these promotions right now. It's like a trifecta right now, a triforce. As far as Mercedes Moné, that's been teased since last year's AEW All In, but seriously, if you couldn't be more blatantly obvious by the graphic, the neon, the dollar signs, the font, big business. I mean, come on.
Boston. Yeah.
Boston. Give me a break. But first off, I'm also going to say this, is I'm also a guy that has no notifications, doesn't scroll, doesn't believe in dirt sheets or clickbait. Seeing is believing, but the evidence speaks for itself. Between the environment and between the teases and between the title and the double dollar sign, maybe for more than one signing, it does not surprise me one bit that Kazuchika Okada was with AEW, but now they're really trying to push the Mercedes Moné agenda. Now, what do both do for it in the long haul? I'm sure we'll talk more about that in the review, but again, Okada adds more to the NJPW relationship more than anything else, and it brings more value to the international fan base. Mercedes Moné, you think about the mainstream media, their connections with Snoop Dogg, and again, you see how much more of those other connections, like for Swerve Strickland, for example, personify in their character and presentation AEW. It could bring other eyes to the AEW product. If nothing else, hopefully this means that AEW can bring a bigger audience, which hopefully means more eyes, which hopefully means better ticket sales, but he needs to pursue other markets. So that's my biggest thing. I want to see him do more international shows, not just Wembley Stadium. And as far as Mercedes Moné, maybe this is the driving power you need with Breaker DMD, your AEW original, Mercedes Moné, one of the biggest names ever in the business, to finally bring forward your AEW women's division and draw more attention. But both these sides of AEW really don't surprise me at all. I just want it means better fans for both and for AEW overall.
I mean, there's nobody there that's going to get in Mercedes Moné's way like in WWE in terms of once she gets going, they're going to push her. Aaron has pointed this out as other people, while they'll do it for a while and then she'll just become part of the mix. With her ego, I don't know, man. I think that she's going to get that spot and keep it for a while, and she'll be gone so quick, like CM Punk, if that doesn't happen. So that will be interesting to watch. As for Okada, Noah, he goes to AEW. He can go do Wrestle Kingdom every year. You go to WWE, you're probably not going and doing Wrestle Kingdom. So again, he might take a couple years away from them too, but it's made too much sense for Tony Khan because his diehard fan base, he's got rankings, all that stuff like G1 Climax that New Japan is, that those fan bases love. Tony Khan, like that's the style that he puts out there, and he needs the guy that's like the king of all of that, and it is Okada. Yep. And by any means necessary, like I had no hesitation. I would have been like so shocked if he went to, even if it still happened, like that 1% chance now, and these rumors are wrong, and he goes to WWE, I will be like, that would be one of the most shocking things I've ever experienced of my that was where I was wrong. I believe in this that much, not because I think Okada is one of my favorites, and I just, it's a perfect fit for him, and I'm being logical.
Yeah.
Walter, and think about it. I mean, the matches he's had with Jay White. Didn't he just recently fight Danielson? Kenny Omega's there when he's healthy.
Kenny Omega's another one once he gets cleared up. Diverticulitis get well soon by the cleaner. There's a handful of
those were all done in Japan, right, Noah? Pretty much. Yep. This is the chance for those matches that were deemed great by you know who to be over here in front of this audience more. And people could argue, well, that 800, 900,000 fan base of AEW, they all watch New Japan anyway. Not necessarily. So Tony Khan he kind of had to with everything that's happened in the past year. So that's definitely a Tony Khan move that I think he needed to do for his fan base.
Yes.
Walter, what do you have to say here?
I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, but in terms of Mercedes Moné, I can't put my finger on a specific reason as to why, but I'm just kind of over her. Like, I feel like she's overhyped. It's like, just either come back, wrestle, and then prove something, or just go away.
Well, she did get hurt. Remember, she did get hurt. She did come back to New Japan. She got hurt.
And she had a big agenda ahead for her in New Japan. She was supposed to be the inaugural NWA Strong Women's Champion, but again, they had to call an audible.
Yeah, they did. I'm just over her. I can't put my finger as to why. It started with that walkout and just up because I just feel like if they don't treat her the way her ego wants her to be treated, and then they don't stroke her ego, she might just walk out on them too. And then it's like, how can you blame the companies if she walks out of two? Like, that's almost even more interesting. Imagine she walked out of AEW and it's like, who are you going to blame now? That'll be a whole nother story in and of itself. But I mean, it's the worst kept secret. It's the way they did the advertising and everything. So we kind of know where that's going. So
now, Walter,
hopefully she can prove me wrong.
And I agree. Like when you said worst kept secret there, we have to think of this logically. They're going to be in Boston in a bigger arena. Their attendance has been poor. Like, I mean, in the bigger arenas nationally, it's been hard for them to fill the whole arenas up. And then ratings, they want to get ratings up. And I'm not saying she's a super needle mover for all that, but making it like not so cryptic and kind of obvious that might be a good thing. Hey, we got to tune into Dynamite for Mercedes Moné's debut. Maybe we buy a ticket and go. I mean, it's pressure for sure, but instead of just cold surprising her, they're at least making people anticipate it. It went over well with Punk in Chicago, obviously.
Rating
I'm not
wise,
saying this is going to be that level, but like that, it might be
business and rating wise, it's a good idea. It is a good idea because you're going to get people eyes on it, especially people who are fans of women's wrestling. But the only way I really see her succeeding and not 6 months to a year down the line being in catering is if the AEW actually hires Scott D'Amore and lets him put the women's division on his back and let him start booking things. But that's a whole nother thing. And then in terms of Okada, you called it. You said AEW has that relationship with.
It's got to be official first.
New Japan. You said they had the relationship with New Japan, so it's a little bit more obvious. I personally would have loved to see him in WWE, but I mean, hopefully he's not on Collision every week. He's actually on Dynamite because I'll be honest with you guys, if it ain't a watch-along, I haven't watched Collision since the watch-along we did and since Punk left. So hopefully they don't just kind of throw him on the back burner and Collision every week and he's actually on their main show and they give him some good stories. So we'll see what's coming. It's interesting, but he do got to break out the bank. Tony Khan has big checks to write to get Mercedes and Okada within the same few months.
I was just thinking I could like have a whole new gimmick if Okada does land in AEW. I could become I could treat him like my Roman Reigns of AEW and then start rating his matches independently of that other guy and act like this Okada guy, where did he come from? He's a 5-star match guy.
Oh Lord.
And just completely ignore that other guy and create my own NoDQ galaxy of Okada fans like I have Roman. This could be great. I could have a reason to want to watch AEW and create the Okada empire, so to speak. So I'm looking forward to this more than I think a lot of people realize. Okay, Aaron, over to you.
All right. First of all, we have a super chat from Psycho Jet Black. Shout out to Psycho Jet Black, longtime viewer. Much love and appreciation. Says WWE or AEW should bring in Taylor Swift for a segment as she has mass-wide appeal. Imagine her standing next to Mercedes and Storm or Becky and Rhea. I mean, the question is, does she even like wrestling? That's the thing. I feel like she probably doesn't care for wrestling. I've never heard anything about her liking wrestling, and she's very busy. Why would she even bother making an appearance? I don't even think she would make a WWE appearance.
She'd have to break up with the Travis Kelce, and date a wrestler. That's how it would happen.
Exactly. Well, maybe one day that'll happen because she's got to put out a new album of material, and when she breaks up with this guy, she has a new album. But then what? Then she's got to date a wrestler. Imagine the stories of that being in the locker room at a WWE or AEW show. She's going to have like 3 or 4 albums worth of material if that happens. But anyways,
there's some bad blood with her and Grayson Waller. I think at one point Grayson Waller could try and create a viral moment down under in Australia and bring more attention to the Elimination Chamber. Maybe try and buy that into WrestleMania. I think it's something that could happen.
Yeah.
Never say never, guys. Anyways, my thoughts on these signings. I think it was very much needed for AEW. I think we can all agree that AEW's momentum has cooled off over the past year or so, and they need some fresh blood in the company. They will definitely benefit, at least short term, from having Okada and Mercedes Moné. And let's not forget Will Ospreay. He's coming in too. All 3 of them around the same time. Feels like a similar scenario to 2001 when Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole, and CM Punk all debuted around the same time. For the short term, it will be good for AEW, get some new people in there. And I think of the 3, Mercedes has the most potential to be a game changer for AEW. I think with the women's division, a lot of people don't look at it very highly. They feel like, okay, Tony Khan puts out the one match on Dynamite at 9:15 to 9:30, just so people don't complain about the women not getting a spot. But they have their spot. They have their own little area of AEW programming. And hopefully with Mercedes Moné, they can go from here and burst it out. Did I say 2001 earlier?
You did. But
okay. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Mr. Tito, and thank you, Noah, for the botch line. But yeah, I think that with Mercedes, she has the potential to make the division bigger than it's ever been. Now, I expressed my concern on Twitter/X about this, and of course, I get the comments. You're just being a troll, and this is a bad faith post. Yada yada yada. Even though in the past we've seen people come in and they have a hot start and then they fizzle out. That's my concern. Now, Virtue made a great point. Like, I don't think it's going to get to that point with Mercedes because they're paying her so much. And like you said, if she's unhappy, she might just cause drama and walk right out the door before she even gets lost in the shuffle. I think Tony Khan, my gut feeling is he probably not only offered her a big paycheck, but also told her she is going to be the face of the company. It's not going to be like Saraya, where they brought her in, she got pushed for a while, and then kind of fell into the mid card of the women's division. I think Mercedes is going to be the face. She's going to have main events on Dynamite and Collision. She is going to be a major player, and hopefully for AEW's sake, the division will be taken more seriously. And I think she has the most potential to bring. Did mention Okada. Maybe he might bring in some new people, but I do think that most of the fans that like Okada are already watching AEW. But he's definitely going to help the main event scene in AEW. Him going up against all sorts of different people like that will freshen things up a bit, and Will Ospreay will definitely help as well. And we'll see if AEW can capitalize on this and have a hot summer and get the numbers up, because they're down right now. These attendance numbers, they're doing like 2,000, 2,500, sometimes 3,000. They are off to a good start with the Boston show, but that's to be expected with Mercedes' debut. The question is, can they sustain those numbers long term? That remains to be seen. But I'm rooting for it.
Capitalizing on the potential. And at the end of the day, we want the wrestling industry, we want AEW to succeed because that brings more eyes to the product. And the product is not one company. The product is the industry in general.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say this too, in case anybody from X is watching this right now. I know some people think that I'm against AEW or think NoDQ is against AEW, which is absolutely not true. AEW succeeding, as I've said for many years, and going back to TNA, WWE having competition is good for everybody. It's good for the wrestlers. They get more money. They get better negotiating power, Virtue.
And if you started this site within the last few years, like you did back in the late night, well, remember it was WWFWCW.com. Aaron would be calling it WWEAEW.com. That's to all the people that think that Aaron hates AEW. Like, if your era of creating this was now, that's what you did then with the two companies. So just putting that out, by the way.
Yeah. And any criticism of AEW, and I think that I'm not the only one that can say this. I think it's because we want them to succeed. We don't want them to decline. We saw it happen with TNA. We saw it happen with WCW. I mean, people in 1998, I don't think you could have found any wrestling fan at the time that was going to tell you WCW would shut down within 3 years. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. Like, it was insane. So even WWE, I don't think any company is too big to fail.
Facts.
It is true. You have to continue to deliver a product that people will pay money to see. And AEW, I still think their shows are overall really good. I think they've declined a little bit, but I still think they have a strong product. And with all these new people coming in, I think they'll be fine. But I do want to see these numbers go up with their attendance. And, it's not just, me being negative for the sake of being negative. Like, I want to see their business go up. Walter.
Yeah, I'm sometimes critical of AEW, but for someone who's critical, I got to. They hit home runs on like almost every single one of their pay-per-views. So Like
Yeah.
they get a good
Exactly.
product there. They just have to stare at and not make the same mistakes that WCW made back in the day, because some of those you can really juxtapose next to each other and see a lot of the same errors happening. So if you just avoid that, but competition is good for anything, for in life, in sports, and anything. It's just motivation for yourself to do better. And you run a site. Why would anybody think you would want a company to fail when you run a site that you need eyeballs on to succeed?
And
The
even
better
people don't put enough critical thinking in their logic when they assume. It's almost like any clickbait dirt sheet that you think is more gospel than the Bible. People are quick to accuse versus think upon something long term. That's part of the problem here with this so-called internet wrestling community.
And I was going to mention the creative process here. $1 sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you for that $1. Much appreciated. Thank you, $1 for the $10. He says, I've been watching AEW since day one. It took me a while to put my finger on it. They lack the Hollywood storytelling elements. They need a Brian Gerwitz type writer. Great show, guys. This is what I think they need, because they got the talent. And I wonder if Tony Khan is a little scared to try things outside the box because he's worried that he might alienate their existing fan base. But I think at some point you have to take a chance. Like,
nailed it.
Look at Tony Storm. Like, that is just something completely different. I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
I want to see more characters and wrestlers just giving us something we haven't seen, and just allowing them to reinvent themselves. Like, that's what we got to see at some point. And I'll say this, I know not everybody likes the Young Bucks, but I will give them credit for trying to reinvent themselves. They can't be the Young Bucks forever, coming out there doing the super kicks. They're changing it up. They're using the Matthew and Nicholas names. They changed their music. They changed their presentation. Like, I give them credit for that, and we need to see more of that across the board with everybody that's been there since the beginning. And unfortunately, I think guys like Chris Jericho might need to either reinvent again or maybe consider stepping aside and letting these new people come in. I mean, Virtue, I know you've been a big fan of Jericho, but not super positive on him as of late.
And another thing, it's just Jericho hanging around, but it is what it is. AEW, they got this cloud over them because Tony Khan bought the rights to Ring of Honor, and he's just flooding AEW with it, and it's confusing to fans that he could pull in. Like, the diehards love it. Like, I know Noah has it all distinguished, right? But not everybody's Noah. And I see like 2 sets of trios champions, and I want to focus on Jay White and his group. And it's too confusing. There needs to be some clarification there. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And that's part of the problem too, that some people also get lost in the AEW ecosystem when you showcase, for example, the all wrestling promotion type setup, when you get like, the AAA talent involved in the AAA championship, the NWW champions involved in the NWW championships, the Ring of Honor and the AEW ones coexisting in the same match. I mean, Bang Bang Scissor Game, to your point, has both sets, the AEW and the Ring of Honor Trios championships. It's one of those things where I do think people like a certain flow in their product versus what might feel like channel survey to you. Like, what promotion am I supposed to be looking at here? Or what's being actually presented? What am I following? A little bit of a mishmash here. And that is, I think, part of the comfort that Tony Khan has with the fact that he owns both AEW and Ring of Honor, but it's also part of his disadvantage towards driving one product more forward than the other. If he had a focus group on AEW and then a focus group on Ring of Honor versus him just focusing on everything himself, I think you have a much better streamlined product that would engage more eyes, where you would literally dictate what the fans would choose, and it wouldn't hurt him either way.
Yep.
Well said, Noah.
Aaron, what else before we move on to the main event?
I think I've said my piece. Walter had to take a break, but he's back with us now, and I think he's ready to talk about WrestleMania. I think we all are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I'm not ready for my slideshow yet. Okay.
Okay.
But we're going to be talking about the WWE Wrestlemania XL press conference in Las Vegas Fallout. So, and I'm specifically talking about the main segment. So, Rollins comes out, then Reigns, which kind of threw me for a loop. So to make a long story short here, Reigns chose Rock. But then Cody comes out and says, BS. And after all that, I'm stepping aside, blah, 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 because maybe WWE wasn't quite sure how they wanted to handle all this with the CM Punk injury, Brock Lesnar being gone. And definitely Cody decided to choose Reigns, which is what all the Cody crybabies were not. So here's the thing. The Cody fan base, like The Rock said on Pat McAfee show, it's definitely split up. You have Cody fans who are respectful to other fans, and they cheer Cody, they play along, but they don't go on social media to just like put down, make death threats, this or that, like the hardcore crybabies. But Cody is going to choose Reigns. That's going to happen, right? Everybody's now, let's finish the story. But here's the thing. Now, instead of having Rock and Reigns, which maybe it was always going to be at 41, maybe that it only was going to be teased for this year because of the injuries, like I said, and all the controversy. They wanted to maybe get away from that negative light of the Vince McMahon stuff with Brock Lesnar's name in there. The Rock is heel. I mean, to counteract the boos from the 1/3 of the fan base that are obviously the most vocal, so it really makes look like nobody loves The Rock. The Rock is now heel with Roman Reigns, and there's a lot of things that we have to take away from this. So before I get into my meat and potatoes of this whole scenario, we now have Walter, I'll start with you on this one. There's now rumored, or we can just guess with our educated guess, there could be a tag match to main event night 1 of WrestleMania, which could be Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus the Bloodline, where The Rock now, instead of just coming in to face Roman for the head of the table, they're going to build them up as blood. And it's going to create some things here because The Rock's presence as a Hollywood, you can say his movies flopped, Black Adam flopped, Young Rock got canceled, this or that. He's still a draw. He had a show get canceled that was still being watched by 3 million people, more than wrestling shows. Black Adam, you could say flopped. It's still streaming well on the charts on social streaming. The way it is, he's still a big Hollywood star, and he's coming in, and it's like, holy crap, he's kind of stepping ahead of Roman, which Bully Ray pointed out, like, Roman's been dominant 3 years with this bloodline thing, dictating the whole thing. Well, yeah, The Rock hasn't been there. But, like, when we think, and I'm going to show a show and tell here in a little bit, when we think of The Rock stepping in, wouldn't that be the guy that would look at Roman eye to eye and say, hey, I'm the head of the table? So we have to anticipate that, so we can't be mad that he's stepping in kind of a half a step, a full step ahead of Roman. And listen, trust me, people, there's going to be a time that we're watching SmackDown or something, and it could be soon, depending on how long they want to slow play this. Remember the whole time? Paul Heyman's like third inning, fourth inning, fifth inning. Remember when Jay said, I don't give a damn what the tribal chiefs say? And it was like a moment, the fans, everybody was like, what about that moment when The Rock keeps showing up with Roman, they're the Bloodline, and if this tag match happens night 1, my gut feeling, Bloodline's going over. They're going to look dominant and strong night 1 of WrestleMania to really put some doubt into what's going to happen night 2 to finish the story. We'll talk about that at a later time. But what about when that moment happens and Roman pushes Rock back behind him and says, whoa, wait, I'm the head. They're going to build to that. What's everybody's take here, thanks to this press conference that has everybody talking, including people in the business? Walter, go ahead.
When you cook in a slow cooker or a pressure cooker, you got to let things cook, and it takes a little longer. So just let it happen. We said this on open mic night, Noah, and you can back me up. We told people, stop overreacting. We don't know where they're going with this. Wait till the presser. And everybody started going crazy on social, and we were all patient waiting. We knew where it would go. You can go so many places. You can do that tag match. The only problem is then Seth might have to work double duty with that injured knee. He might have to work double duty injured as the tag match and has to defend that world heavyweight title. So are you going to have him lose both? Are you going to have, there's so many ways you could do long-term storybooking. You can what if Rock and Roman are the Bloodline, and then the rest of the Bloodline turn their back on Roman, saying you went Hollywood on us and you went for The Rock and you went back on us after we protected you for 3-4 years, and then that's a feud within the bloodline. And then Jimmy can reunite with Jay. There's so many forks in the road that we can take, and people just gotta let it cook. They gotta let it wait. They gotta be patient. We can go so many different ways. We don't know where this is going. And shout out to The Rock for leaning into that heel turn. He said they want to overreact to all this. Then bam, I'm gonna show you Hollywood Rock. I'm gonna show you my acting chops. And he went right into it. And it's just awesome to see this heel Rock. It's like, and then you're seeing like it's 1996. You're hearing people saying, "Die Rocky, die," and Rocky sucks. I'm like, what is this? 96 all of a sudden?
Exactly. Dude, his career was on the line because if he didn't get over in Vince McMahon's WWE as Rocky Maivia, which he didn't when he was the babyface, the blue chipper, and then The Rock came out of that. One of the most entertaining probably entity in the pro sport, or not pro sports, but sports entertainment ever. I'm not saying he's the best wrestler, but this guy he has experience from when he wasn't even a star yet that helped him become a star, Noah. So this to me, I'm kind of glad this has happened, but I still have one point I'm going to show in a little bit that I'm still upset at certain fan base. But yes, I am okay with this pivot, if that's what it was. Maybe it was the original plan, because I want Rock and Roman to be together for a while.
Yeah.
They're the bloodline. They should have a run of being together to create that moment, like I said, where Roman's like, wait. And that's what, so go ahead, Walter.
Yeah, that's a beautiful moment. Or what if Roman and Rock make a couple movies together, and then that's when the rest of the bloodline be like, look, you went Hollywood on us, you went movies. Like, there's so many stories you could pull out of this. Like, that'll be funny if they made a couple movies and then they're like, dude, you turned your back on us to go Hollywood, to go line your pockets up, and you forgot about us. And then it's Bloodline A versus Bloodline B. Like, the Bloodline story it's the gift that keeps on giving, and it just never ends. But we got to get Roman to eventually lose that title. But that still doesn't mean that that's the end of the actual Bloodline story. You don't need the title. You need this to happen. You need the collision. I want him to lose it. Then Cody. How do we get to Rock and Roman? Yeah, exactly.
Let it happen night 2. Let the story finish so that mob goes away and they can go plot when they're going to turn on Cody. That'll be their next thing. But let get the focus, that negative focus, off of Roman Reigns. So yeah, I want that to happen.
Me too. And we're all just assuming that Rock's doing one thing. We don't know. Rock can do multiple. He's on the board. You don't know. He could. He's lying. His pockets are well enough. He's got enough money in the bank. He doesn't need to make 10, 12 movies in it like the last few years he's been doing. He might have put his Hollywood career on the back burner because he got the bug
Schwarzenegger took 8 years off, and he came back, and it's a great nostalgia run for him now. That's what you do in Hollywood.
You just never know. But the word, I keep saying that, open mic nights and everything, the word of the year for 2024, patience. You just need patience. Stop rushing everything. You don't want the movie to go from the beginning straight to the end. Like, you need the rise, you need everything. You need the storytelling. So just take a chill pill and let's just sit back and enjoy the ride. Strap your seatbelts on and enjoy the ride. That's all we got to do.
Dude, I've been clamoring for Rock and Roman for a couple years now. And when all the things were turning around like, hey, this is going to happen this year, and then the Cody Crybabies started, you don't see me now going, oh, God damn it, I can't believe Cody's going to finish his story, and now I got to wait. You don't see me. I'm embracing just seeing what's happening. I'm not being what they did and going and bitching about, because basically they're going to probably postpone the Rock and Roman probably for at least another year. You don't see the Rock fans going and Roman fans bitching about it. Nope, but the Cody fans did. Okay. You good, Walter?
Yeah.
All right, Noah, your turn.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, follow that.
Well,
I didn't even do my show and tell yet.
Yeah, he's just getting warmed up, man.
Well, I mean, hey, that's what this is all about, and why wouldn't it be? This honestly is one of the most compelling WrestleMania narratives / sports entertainment long storylines since WrestleMania 19, and arguably the ongoing story that always was Vince McMahon versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. But what's interesting about this, what the press conference presented, it blurred the lines between shoot and work, but it also looked at the corporate structure. We were talking about the fight capital of the world. We're in Las Vegas. Of course, UFC is home there. We've seen UFC weigh-ins and press conferences and contracts go to blows and be broken up, and the press is all over that like, oh my gosh, where we're going from here, and then you don't hear much about a lawsuit. And the thing about this, though, is Cody Rhodes, it felt like he took a business choice at first. And then he's like, okay, you're going to show what my Royal Rumble win meant? Nah. So I'm going to go after Roman. I don't care what your status quo is. I don't care what you are. I won and earned that opportunity. I mean, Michael Clayton said post when everything basically cooled off at the table. Cody won the Royal Rumble. He gets to choose who he faced in the main event of WrestleMania. Triple H, the true one official in WWE that makes that official, no matter what you're seen as above there. It's not like Rock's chairman on the board. He's just on the actual board of TKO. But adding that wrinkle in there adds still suspension of disbelief that The Rock is going to try and influence the direction of WrestleMania. To the point that Virgil was suddenly teasing, maybe this is the way you do like a tease match. But what's bigger than that is Roman's been the end-all, be-all, unopposed. Roman right now is being almost relegated to realizing who he needs to acknowledge. And that's arguably the biggest guy in existence in the Bloodline still alive today, The Rock. So it adds a whole different narrative where Roman right now might need to realize that I'm the head of the table here in WWE, but maybe I'm not the head of the table in the Bloodline family. So there's a lot of different butterfly effects I take from this right now. And I think we're going to see more of that unfold come Friday night, where it's not so much just about Cody versus Roman. It's not so much just about Roman and Cody, Roman and The Rock versus Cody and Seth. It arguably might be even more than Triple H versus The Rock based on corporate position. It might be the Anali family versus the entire WWE, and I'm all for it. It's a very interesting, polarizing, non-one-directional narrative that I'm all for. At this point, Finish the Story is about Cody winning the title. That's what it's about. Everything else is just added on features. But what truly is the story to be finished right now is the Bloodline, and it's not finishing. It's just taking a whole different chapter or saga or, honestly, edition. I mean, hell, Harry Potter had 8 different books. What book of this, the Bloodline, are we in right now? 5, 6, 7? I mean, taking out baseball terms into actual novel-based terms, this is like a whole nother novel that could be written all the way up to WrestleMania 41, and even then you still may not have a definitive ending. So it is a very capable, very compelling, to say the least, for me in a long time. And I'm all for it. I don't really have any negative thing to say. And why fans are fickle and express their opinions on the Twitter, I don't do that. I just want to see what happens. And right now I'm all for this, right? I'm in the passenger seat. I'm just curious right now, when does Rock versus Roman happen? How do you get there? Who's involved in that? And during that time, who influences that decision? So Sokola, Paul Heyman, Jimmy or Jey Uso, somebody else we don't know. Maybe you have a Bloodline summit with Rikishi finally, like they did with those contract signs in the past. Instead of a contract sign, you have a tribal summit, maybe. There's a lot of different ways they could go now with The Rock's influence here, especially with him going Hollywood. So it definitely was a lot to take away in that 22-minute segment at the press conference, to say the least. And I'm all for it.
You want to make some money. I know we don't know where WrestleMania is going to be at 41 yet, right, Aaron? Just rumors.
I mean, the front runners, I've heard Minneapolis, I've heard Las Vegas. Okay. I would think it's one of those two.
And again, I don't know if their stadium's even serviceable anymore, but what better way to bring money back to Hawaii than have a WrestleMania there in their Aloha Bowl stadium, if it's even serviceable anymore, and have the head of the table match there, because that's the island, the Pacific West. Now, Aaron, are you good, Noah? Did you get everything off your chest?
As far as what we're talking about right now, which feels like Act 1 of this main event, yes.
Okay. Aaron, go slowly with these. But put up Exhibit A. So I want to preface this first by saying, when I talk about Cody fans, like Rock said on Pat McAfee, you got Cody, you got the fans that are good fans, and then you got the crybabies. This is specifically targeted at the crybabies who feel that they are entitled. What are you entitled to? You say Cody's story must finish at WrestleMania against Roman, and it failed last year and you were pissed off. And Here, what if he didn't win the Rumble this year? And then this match, The Rock and Roman was going to happen. What would you be saying then? Is it because WWE booked Cody to win the Rumble, and then it doesn't logically make sense to your smart mark ass that he would step aside? Because let me preface this story to you. Exhibit A in Philadelphia 2015, Roman wins the Rumble. He's Vince McMahon's new John Cena. It doesn't go over very well. Not even a megastar like The Rock can get that Philly crowd to care about him. What was Cody Rhodes doing in 2015? Stardust? Was he out of the company yet or getting close to it? Okay. What story started then? All right. Exhibit B, Aaron. Roman Reigns leaves as the champion, as the Universal Champion with leukemia, remission leukemia. And, sure, his prognosis might have been great because it seems like he recovered fairly quickly. A few months later, he films a movie, a blockbuster from the Fast and Furious franchise with who? The Samoan Rock. In 2019, small little part fighting scene, but how apropos that it's in Samoa and he's fighting alongside The Rock. Where was Cody Rhodes in 2019? He was starting up AEW with his buddies because he didn't make it in WWE yet. Okay. Where's Cody's story then? Meanwhile, the Bloodline continues to grow and we don't even know it exists yet. Aaron, here we are. We were about to get this match, but the Cody Crybabies cried. And now we're going to get probably delayed till next year. This match right here, Cody Crybabies, has been 10 years, pretty much 9 years in the making. Don't act like you superseded that with your story just because Cody won a couple of Royal Rumbles. The disrespect that you jackasses give Dwayne Johnson, who has made wrestling popular in the Attitude Era with the likes of Stone Cold, the NWO, and all that, went to Hollywood, the biggest wrestling star to leave wrestling and make a name in the entertainment world than anybody else in the history, flops and movies that you liked and were good. He still did it. He's worth $250 million. What do you hate about him? His success? Is he an outsider like Batista that's coming in? And Batista wasn't an outsider then either, but you created the Yes movement. Now you felt like you have to do this finish the story movement when this Bloodline thing has been simmering for 9 years and you want to take it away because you want the story finished. You are absolute frauds as wrestling fans. And yet you're going to continue to go and boo and disrespect. Look, as soon as Cody wins that title from Roman, yay, we got our way. Hurrah. Then all of a sudden you're going to care about Rock and Roman because you've moved on from Cody and you're going to cheer the Bloodline stuff heading into next year. And then what's going to happen along the way? You're not going to care about Cody. And I'm calling it now. And it's about a third of that fan base. They are the dumb jackass troll social media. That's why I carry on like I do on Twitter with certain fans, because they just don't respect anything. They think because if they know how it's supposed to happen based on dirt sheets, that if something's altered, it's just not right. It's Batista coming in. He shouldn't do it. Lesnar's back, beating Kofi in seconds. It shouldn't happen. Look, you guys don't run a business for a very logical reason. Who knows if most of you even have jobs. But meanwhile, I trust the people that are in charge. And you can even crap on Vince McMahon and all the allegations he has. He built this thing years and years ago. And the reason why WCW even mattered, because Vince made wrestling popular nationally and globally. Why is AEW around today? Because WWE. Now, we've moved on from that era, and we are now in this new era with TKO, with The Rock's on the board, right? He might not have any power, but his friend Nick Khan is in charge. Ari Emanuel, one of their agents, he's there head of the company. And you fans just have to deal that McMahon's gone, but the new regime of political play is everybody I just mentioned. And just hope your boy Triple H gets to stay along for the ride. He does a great job. I hope him being tied to Vince in the way he is doesn't screw things up and they clean house. Hopefully Triple H is the one guy that stays. And then everybody should be happy with the new WWE going forward. Just show the respect. Just because these guys are larger than life stars and they're not your workhorse wrestlers, there's still a good section of the fan base who won't go bitch and moan like you. They'll just be patient and they'll wait for their moment. This is the same Rock you cheered against Hulk Hogan in one of the all-time classic WrestleMania matches. It really wasn't a great match in terms of what they did, 15 minutes long, but based on the crowd reaction because of the two larger-than-life stars that had that match, we have an opportunity to get Rock and Roman to at least be up towards that level. And you, third of that fan base is shitting on that. Shame on you, Marks. Go ahead, Walter. Or, no, it's your turn, Aaron. I forgot the other guy spoke already. Go ahead, Aaron.
Virtue, you good, brother? You good?
Like, I'm not shitting on Cody, right? I want him to finish his story. That I never said he shouldn't.
Right.
But the disrespect, and I'm glad The Rock is smart enough to pivot into this heel character because he wasn't getting that reaction. I'm sure he expected the cheers and that vocal minority would die out, but they didn't because they're the way they are. And I'm just going to watch it unfold. And Aaron, this is great for no DQ business. Right? Go ahead, take it away there because people are talking about all of this. Right?
I see steam coming off your head.
How did that press conference drive traffic for your site the last the immediate 48 hours afterwards? Pretty good?
It was like a pay-per-view.
Okay.
Remember the NWO? The preceding announcement was paid for by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No. That was very well said. I mean, I can't say I really disagree with it. I mean, I think fans are allowed to react however they want to react. And I'm just happy with what we're getting right now. I'm happy that there's interest and enthusiasm about WrestleMania. Like, I much prefer this over just a standard build that people are like, yeah, it's WrestleMania. But now it's like, it's WrestleMania. Like, there's some oomph to it. Like, there's excitement.
You're right. They can react the way they want to react, but like they don't realize they shit on two of their darlings, Cody and Seth. When Cody came out and called that audible, instead of embracing why he was making that decision and trusting that he would still get a shot at Roman in that title at some point, and then say, hey, you know what, go have that match, steal the show with Seth, and we're going to cheer that match, but we're also going to cheer Roman and The Rock, because once that's over at WrestleMania, it's back to Cody's story. They crapped on Cody and Seth and didn't even know it. They didn't even know they did that, because you're supposed to embrace whatever direction the company makes, no matter what it is. But if you don't get booked right in their eyes and based on what the dirt sheets were telling us, we all of a sudden, we're not going to care. And it's just, there's such Benedict Arnolds. Again, it's not everybody. There is a good logical fan base that lets things play out. So this is not aimed at them. It's going to be that mob that comes and attacks me on Twitter or attacks me in the comments here. That's that group of wrestling fans I can't stand. And yeah, Aaron, they're part of your traffic and community. I get that. So, maybe I do have fun riling them up, but this is from my heart, on my sleeve or whatever. I mean this. This is how I feel. Go ahead.
All right. We got some super chats here from Psycho Jet Black. Now, we'll talk about the tag match here in a second. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2 and said, will Kevin Hart be the referee for The Rock versus Roman Reigns? I mean, that would be interesting. Like, Kevin Hart has a long time relationship with The Rock. They've done a lot of projects together.
Timekeeper.
So, yeah.
Timekeeper, somebody like that.
I mean, they could.
Not the big announcer.
I feel like it isn't necessary. Like, they don't need Kevin Hart to be out there for it. It would be cool, like, to have him in a Mike Tyson type enforcer role, but I honestly don't think they need it whatsoever. Like, I think Rock and Reigns has enough strength on its own to just be out there, the two of them, nothing else.
And I'm all right. Like I said, let it simmer. Let Roman see, hey, why are you stepping over my bounds here? This is my era now. You went to Hollywood. Let the Cody fans get their story, get that out of their system, so this match can get the proper respect it deserves. And I just wish the fans didn't have to do what they did to have it get pushed back when we could have had all of it now with Cody's story still to be continued. I thought that would have been great too, but nope, not them. They want it now. No, damn it.
Right. They wanted to finish the story, and the
story that started way after Roman and Rock's story, by the way.
Yeah,
which I pointed out.
Regardless of what was the original plan or not, what was changed, I mean, I'm just very entertained by all this, and I like that it's the long game. The Rock said all along it was the long game, and I say get the Cody storyline out of the way, wrap this up, and start building up the Rock versus Roman Reigns, and I'm looking forward to it. I think you got 2 huge WrestleManias coming up here. Now, of course, there's the whole tag team possibility. They've been teasing that. We had that trailer that came out, and then on Raw, Rollins said that he is willing to be by Cody's side in all this. So they're definitely teasing something here with these 4 guys, and I'm very intrigued to see where it goes. I'm fine with the tag match, as I mentioned on the NoDQ recap of Raw. It protects all 4 guys. Nobody has to do too much work, and you can main event night 1 with that, and set up night 2 with whatever happens there. Don't know what they're going to plan for that, but I really love the idea, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. Now, Hamp Connell sent in $5. Shout out to Hamp. He says, Virtue is 100% right. These are the kind of people that killed sports entertainment and why WWE can't draw a mainstream audience. I mean, Virtue, we're going to get the mainstream audience tuning in with The Rock. Like, I expect SmackDown's number to be the highest it's been in a long time.
I'd love for it to hit 3 million Friday because he's advertised. I would love for that.
It might like
a shot against Fox too, who was wondering why you guys couldn't maintain 3 million as well.
Well, I mean, they're okay with it now because WWE's running on Fox on Friday, so they're gonna get their viewers. So
AEW might as well run a replay on Rampage. Don't go against this SmackDown.
I've seen people were worried about The Rock's cardio. He got blown up doing 2 minutes under the hot lights with the little people's elbow. This is good for him to work a tag match so he can get back, get TV match time with not having to worry about, he can just get a hot tag or 2 in the match. But don't worry about, as a fan, cardio and stuff. Let The Rock and his trainers figure that out. That's just, why do we think of that stuff? Because Meltzer talks about it. I don't think about any of that stuff. It doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? It just does not matter. So
you look like half these people look like me. Stop worrying about somebody else's cardio and worry about your own.
Walter, listen to Walter. And Walter, you look good, by the way. But yeah, Aaron, go ahead.
I can't say nothing. I'm skin and bones.
You look good too. No.
The match, whenever Rock versus Reigns does happen, I think the main point of getting in the cardio shape is to minimize the chances of getting injured. He doesn't want to get injured.
Muscle mass needs to come down. Yes, like
he did at the WrestleMania match with John Cena. I think that's really the key. He wants to make sure he minimizes the risk of injury. Now, Psycho Jet Black brought this up. I don't think this is going to happen, but if The Rock, who knows, if The Rock is having fun, he might do several matches. You never know. It's wrestling. Anything can happen. Psycho Jet Black.
That could be a War Games, because let's not forget, Rocky Maivia was introduced at Survivor Series. Survivor Series now is literally called War Games. And if they let this simmer out, the fallout of SmackDown after WrestleMania is The Rock opposing his will to Roman, who truly is the head of the table. This is one hell of a way to try and build towards that, as The Rock basically humbles Roman to know your role and shut your damn mouth before Roman can't say anymore. And this match right here could be a breaking point, and that's how you maybe set the road to WrestleMania 41. So again, going back to everything that was talked about here, and while the fact of the matter is that Triple H can't wrestle, again, folks, to tell a story, you don't have to tell it physically in the ring. You can tell it verbally. You can tell it emotionally. That's what's going to happen on Friday in this face-to-face. And there's a little bit of evidence I want to point out when it comes to The Rock and Triple H. Virtue, the last time The Rock and Triple H, I'm doing the Brady Bunch thing with those things, folks. The last time that The Rock and Triple H were face-to-face, it was prior to WrestleMania 31. You could just see that subtle tension, for all we know, because you think about how long The Rock and Triple H go all the way back, not to, even talk about the defining moment with them first clashing over the Intercontinental Championship. Yeah. But again, you look at where both these men are right now in their lives and in their careers, and I think about back to that moment before WrestleMania 31 and that subtle face-to-face backstage at that SmackDown. Even then, there felt like there was a little bit of tension there, teasing for something bigger to come. And now you look at The Rock being the biggest man in all sports entertainment and probably the biggest man in the bloodline, and Triple H now being the authority figure in WWE. It just feels a lot more planned to me as we look at this thing 9 years later developing. Because yes, it's Cody and Roman. It's Rock and Roman. But I look at also Rock and Triple H, because I think there could be a power struggle here that could come into play that adds more tension to the storyline. So there's a lot of fun elements to look at here.
Yeah, you're right. And The Rock, keep in mind, he is part of the TKO board of directors, and I'm hoping like we get like a hybrid of corporate Rock from the Attitude Era and the Hollywood Rock, mix them together, have The Rock come out there with his suit and just let him embrace the heel role. Like I'm so happy about that. Heel Rock is going to be fire, and anybody that's legitimately unhappy about that, like, what is wrong with you?
Hey, we're gonna get a Cody Crybaby song. I cannot wait.
Oh
my
God. To come out,
yes,
and he's gonna dedicate it to the Cody Crybabies. If he doesn't do that, then he must have some character development that's gonna blow our socks off. But I expect him to do that.
So we need a new Rock concert for sure.
One song at least, Cody Crybabies.
With Jimmy in the background saying "No yeet" right after it.
Anyway.
He can do it as a special instead of doing a full-on concert because it's just one song, a one-hit wonder for all time. He could do it via satellite, or like he could do it like a pre-recorded thing while he's out there in the middle of the ring, showing what he did versus giving it to the people live. Because again, he's Hollywood. I don't know you guys stuff it for free. So,
dude, no.
So many nuances here.
That's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to heel so well and get them to boo him. They're going to end up you know how they love heels and then want to cheer for heels. Yeah. The Rock's going to flip the script once Cody gets the belt and that part's done. Rock's going to flip the script, and maybe he has so much fun doing it. Roman turns face. Okay, we've been talking about that for a couple of years now. We don't know. Something's going to happen. Going into the head of the table match, if and when it happens, somebody's probably going to be cheered, someone's going to be booed, but we don't know which one.
Will Paul Heyman pick a side? Will Solo Sikoa be not only the problem solver, will he be the resolution? Will he be the decider? Again, there's so many different ways this could go right now. It's a butterfly effect with The Rock in the picture. We just got to see what happens. And as far as finishing the story, that's just the first chapter that maybe needs to happen and will maybe finally happen at WrestleMania 40. So just sit back and enjoy the ride, folks.
And yes, he will probably have a Seth Rollins line in his song too. Yes,
I could see that, especially with the whole
your wife's clothes, something. Yeah.
Yeah. What breaks a shield?
Wouldn't that be funny if Roman sang along like a line or two, something like you would never expect out of him? That would be great.
The Rock, accompanied by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns gets one line in on the microphone, sits and
acknowledge me. Yeah, but tune in.
It's going to be a fun couple months here, and hopefully more. Hopefully, The Rock has a great time and sticks around, because this is gold. Wrestling fans need to appreciate this while we have it. Like we're in a golden era right now with The Rock being back. Like, we don't get this often.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Enjoy every minute of it. Whether you're a Cody fan or a Rock fan, just enjoy the ride. It's going to be a hell of a ride here.
For sports entertainment enthusiast, a professional wrestling fan, or a casual viewer, or a die-hard fan for life, I just look at all things wrestling, and I'm all for this.
I got a great. This is Rock. He's got to do it during one of the promos. If he gets loud boos, he needs to raise his arm up and show the goosebumps. Dude, if he got the goosebumps off of a sea of boos, talk about smacking those fans in the face. That would be great.
He did do the smack of the upper arm, though, after hearing that heat to Cody, while CM Punk, of course, was talking about this whole diplomatic stature of Cody Rhodes and what The Rock believes he is, but The Rock never threw him over the top rope. So, to your point, I think he's already doing that.
Aaron, what else you got?
We got some super chats here. Justin basically stole Psycho Jet Black's gimmick here. He says, imagine Big Show turning up at WrestleMania just to turn heel.
Gosh. No.
I mean, Big Show might show up on AEW to turn heel, but I don't think he's coming back to WWE anytime soon.
Look, the only one that needs to show up from AEW to try and be involved in this, if we're really going as far-fetched as possible, is Dustin Rhodes.
Yeah, I agree. I'd like to see Dustin back. But yeah, I mean, Paul White probably shouldn't be on TV. I know we joke about it, but I don't even think he should be there just being a good guy. I think he should probably stick to being a behind-the-scenes or even a commentator personality on TV. And
community leader, I believe, is what he is, along with Mark Henry. So good for him.
Yeah, I mean, if you saw him on the Chris Jericho cruise, like he didn't look like he was moving too well. So I think
if anybody shows up at Mania to do that, it should be Rikishi to be involved in it, not Big Show.
I agree. But he was pulling a Psycho Jet Black there, I think. And speaking of Psycho Jet Black, he says, to quote Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. Absolutely. I mean, it's an exciting time for sure. It is like Jurassic Park. It's going to be a lot of excitement and drama for sure. And Psycho Jet Black also said that maybe Drew McIntyre will screw over Seth Rollins in the tag team match. I mean, they could do that. You know, that's a way that they could have Rock and Reigns go over and set up not only night 2 with Cody versus Reigns and build up the Bloodline's momentum, but also you can set up the World Heavyweight title match and build heat for that. So yeah, if McIntyre is in fact the one who wins Elimination Chamber, you could have him potentially interfere in that night 1 match. Walter?
If we really get that tag match, I need it. I don't know why. I did Big E and Punk to be the commentators during that.
Punk's
they
going to
had
be
something
part of
going on
WrestleMania.
that presser. I'm telling
Punk's
you.
going to be part of WrestleMania weekend. Don't worry about that.
Bar none.
He stole the show at the press conference. He will be part of the weekend.
He needs to be part of kickoff panels to actually make people care about watching those, because CM Punk is on fire.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be there, I'm thinking. And Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Psycho, for the super chats, by the way. He says, imagine Damian Priest cashing in during the tag match. I don't think this is going to happen because I think it would be a distraction from the Roman Reigns stuff. Like, I don't see all that happening in Roman and The Rock's match. I think it's much more likely to happen on night 2 when it's not taken away from The Rock and Roman Reigns' stuff. I mean, anybody have an opinion on that? I mean, I don't see it happening.
Nah.
We got Mr. Tito, who sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Mr. Tito. He says, WWE fans truly don't know what they want. I mean, didn't Daniel Bryan call the fans fickle?
Yes, accurate. Still to this day. And it's not just WWE, it's any company.
And it's not every fan either. It's not every fan. It's
no.
minority.
You even pointed it out. It's just those right now that's either trying, maybe draw towards their own, idealisms, and whether they believe them more than the gospel, Meltzer supported or not, it's up to them.
But you're right, Virtue. I mean, fans might end up turning against Cody after a while. Like if they feel like he's being shoved down their throats and he's too much of like a John Cena type of babyface. It could happen. There could be.
He'll be ready for that turn. Yeah, he'll be ready for that turn.
Mm-hmm.
You think he'll actually turn?
If I'm just saying, if he'll be ready for it. It could be a long time down the road, but I think he's got natural heel in him.
These same fans are going to be disappointed because there's no way Cody's going to live up to Roman Reigns' reign because of how long he's had the title, which is like part of the problem too.
Well,
no matter how long Cody has it, he might not live up to it.
Fans don't gravitate to anything forever. Fans will change as quick as the seasons go, if not longer. That's the thing about this business. You don't grab onto something forever. You always find something else to latch onto. So it's always going to be a fickle business. It just is.
They love the chase, Noah. The chase is once the chase is over, they're looking for another chase.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so you got to be really careful.
Yeah. I think more people care about chases rather than, those that are being hunted versus the hunters. And I think that falls for a lot of storylines in wrestling in general, not just WWE.
Yeah, you really got to be careful with the top babyface champion. Once they win the title, you have to have some strong opponents for them and have a game plan so fans don't turn against them. We'll see what happens with Cody. I mean, the fans love him, but I mean, they've turned against various people over the years. Once they reach the top, we've seen it happen on numerous occasions.
The opposite is true too, because if Drew beats Seth, I guarantee he's going to start getting cheered when he's got that belt.
Oh yeah, for sure. T Fresh sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, T Fresh. Says, could The Rock and Roman face Cody Rhodes and Steve Austin? I don't think Austin's doing a match this year. Never say never. He even said in an interview that's up on NoDQ, you can check that out, He did not rule it out, but I don't think he's doing it this year. There's certainly no indication of it. Like, I would say it's unlikely. I mean, it would be awesome to see The Rock and Steve Austin in the same ring again, but I don't think that's going to happen.
To run back WrestleMania 19 in the same building.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, never say never, but I don't think that's going to happen. And then Justin sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Justin. Says, do you think The Rock will have a different theme song? I would love him to come out to his Hollywood theme song from 2003, or maybe they come up with a new one, but I love that old one. I'd love to hear him come out to that again. I mean, you guys have an opinion?
They'll probably just revamp it because remember they just revamped like his original electrifying one. He's been using that since he came back as guest host at WrestleMania 27. So they'll probably revamp the Hollywood heel one for this generation.
Yeah, I'd love to see, like, that video where like shows the LA skyline. Like, they could shoot a whole new video in HD. Yeah, they could do a brand new high definition video. I hope they do that on Friday. And he comes out there with the blazer, and he's looking like the executive. Mesh mixed together the corporate Rock with the Hollywood Rock.
They should play Roman's theme first, and then immediately just. And then disconnects into the Rock's new heel theme. Rock comes out first, while Roman coming out behind him.
There you go. There's an idea to set things up.
Maybe don't play Roman's theme for a while. Keep playing the Rocks, and that's what leads to that. Roman's finally going, look, I'm the head of the table, and you keep getting your theme play. You're not. That could alter what Virtue was talking about. Until that moment where Roman pushes Rock back, like, wait a minute.
Just remember, last year, I heard, this is never going to happen. Rock's never going to come back. If it wasn't in Hollywood, nope, never.
That's Big G.
And then, I've heard that from other people too. And then some interviews later and appearances later, and here we are. And of course, like Tito said, the fans don't know what they want because we could have probably had it this year, but WWE did things a little weird, and and maybe not. I mean, I know a lot of people want to think that they're pivoting here, but maybe this is all by design. Who knows? We don't I don't care what leaks out on the dirt sheets. The real core group of people that make the decisions, they're the only ones that really know what they were always going to do. And it doesn't matter at this point. It doesn't matter, Aaron, because the press conference happened and everybody's talking about all the scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, I think they hit a home run. I think they hit a home run with that press conference, and I think they're going to make big money out of all this. Now, Psycho Jet Black, little off topic here. Psycho Jet Black sent in $2. He says, "Do you think that Bayley will finish the story at WrestleMania? We talked about the chase. Does she chase, or does she get the title at WrestleMania? I think she gets the title at WrestleMania, and Io's had it for a while, so I think Bayley will finish her story. Although I could see it continuing. Anybody have a different opinion, or you want to save it for predictions?"
I don't do predictions, so yeah, she'll keep it.
About to say, we're going to have one hell of a predictions panel, predictions week, predictions outlook, of course, on WrestleMania 40. Looking forward to trying to be a part of that. But I think she deserves the moment. She's the last of the original 4 Triple H daughters of NXT that reinvigorated women's wrestling in WWE. Hasn't had a moment since 33. Io Sky's been champion since SummerSlam, which we saw live. We saw the cash-in. And honestly, at this point right now, I think Bayley deserves this moment. She's always been, in my opinion, the underappreciated, underregarded workhorse of the women's division in WWE. She's always been a constant. So let's give her a moment. I think she deserves it.
And you can always block dirt sheets if you don't want the scoop or the rumors, but just don't block NoDQ. That's all I ask. And on that note, we're caught up with everything, and looking forward to Friday's SmackDown. And I guess we'll be back in our usual spot Sunday night. We'll talk about the fallout from SmackDown. Hopefully, we get some interesting happenings on that show.
Yeah,
great show, everyone. My internet's starting to get buggy, so let's do our plugs. Go ahead, Walter.
All right. Well, thanks for having me up here again. On the X, if you want to follow me, it's at Walter Alex Cruz. The Cowfire Farms is the Instagram. The at Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel. I do have the live presser reactions. I did a watch along with there if you want to check that out. February 17th, this Saturday, got the UFC 2 98 watch along. I also got some content that I'm working with Noah to record and put out there for the Simply Reliable for NWA. So that's coming out. So more content is coming out. So please like and subscribe that YouTube channel. And thanks for, as always, for having me up here.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Walter. Okay, Noah.
Oh, it's a pleasure, gentlemen. Find me if you choose on the Twitter and on YouTube and Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Of course, prediction leagues, prediction panels, prediction forums, all the wrestling, WWE, AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, NXT, and other companies, of course. His only wish to encourage you, as always, just enjoy live and enjoy professional wrestling. I'll see y'all down the line, maybe even Sunday. We'll see. But again, it truly is as simple as that, and it's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Noah. Okay, Aaron.
All right, that's been a wrap here for the No DQ review. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest wrestling news and rumors. And buy a shirt, NoDQ.com merch. You can get the Say Yes to No DQ shirt. You can get the No DQ review shirt. You can get the No DQ review moderator T-shirt. Even if you're not a moderator, you could still act like you're one and wear the T-shirt. Support No DQ. Virtue, let's go ahead and wrap it up.
That's it. Oh, we got a super chat, Aaron. And by the way, X.com, that's my Twitter. Okay, go ahead, Aaron.
All right, so we have an After Dark here super chat from This Guy Experience. Thank you, This Guy Experience. Says, WWE finally stacked with stars, Drew better as a heel. I think we all agree on that. Drew McIntyre doing some great work as a heel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they got the star power. They don't need Brock Lesnar. Like, I don't know if Brock's going to come back anytime soon, but I mean, they're going to be fine without him for the time being. With The Rock back, you know, they are loaded. Randy Orton, LA Knight, Bloodline, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre. Like it's a stacked lineup, and plus all the women, Bayley, Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley. Like WWE's on fire right now. They are hot.
And injured players coming back at some point. Charlotte, Punk.
Yep. They got a lot of talent and a lot of star power.
Andrade just came back. They're already promoting him. So they got some.
Yep, for sure.
Yep.
All right, that's it. For Aaron, Walter, Noah, and the whole crew and Galaxy, I'm Virtue. Good night, everybody. We'll see you again next Sunday at 8.
Have a good night, folks.